Today is August 9th, 2018. I'm the Curator, and this is the Curator Show. I'd like to start by making it clear that the numbers mentioned in this episode are estimates gathered from past experience, mixed with quotes from many different printers. Actual costs may vary. One question that I often get asked is how much does it cost to start a clothing brand? And honestly, it depends. Everyone's startup costs will be different based off of what they think is most important to spend money on first. If you break it down a bit, the true question that most people want answered is how much does it cost to get shirts printed, since that involves the actual product that you're selling. Even then, the question is still pretty vague, but I'll do my best to answer it. For those of you who don't want to listen to this whole thing, the quick answer would be $8 to $13 per shirt. However, if you listen more, you'll realize how many different things determine the actual cost, so that price range can potentially be extremely inaccurate depending on what you want produced. First, separate the variables. There are a lot of factors that play roles in determining the cost of producing a run of t-shirts. Most of these factors influence the price in different ways as well. The cost of your order will normally be based on the quantity ordered, method of production, the design, the base shirt, the order timeline, the method of shipping, and the order location. Again, this information is a generalization, and the manufacturer that you choose to work with may go about business differently. The first factor that you need to consider is the quantity of your order. The way quantity affects your order is really simple, and to be honest, you should already know this if you're going into business. The higher the amount of shirts that you order, the lower the cost per unit produced. The average printer or manufacturer has what's called a minimum order quantity, or MOQ, which is the lowest number of units that you're allowed to order. The MOQ for most places is about 25 to 30 units, but can also be lower if you're going with direct-to-garment printing. Keep in mind, if you purchase the lowest number possible, you will likely be paying the highest cost per shirt. Like I said before, the larger the quantity, the cheaper the cost per unit. Before you go and order 1,000 shirts though, you should definitely listen to our episode on why you should start small, which we'll be releasing soon. In the beginning, ordering closer to the minimum order quantity will be safer for your brand. Next, you have to look at the production method and the design. There are plenty of ways to get shirts produced, but to keep this episode simple, I'm only going to focus on screen printing and direct-to-garment printing, since they're among the most common. If you don't know the difference between the two methods, we'll be releasing an episode comparing them soon. I'm pairing the production method and design variables because they're normally correlated. Whether you choose to get your design silk-screened or direct-to-garment printed is ultimately up to you, but there are methods that are most ideal and cost-effective for each situation. If your design has a lot of different colors, you probably want to look into direct-to-garment printing. Getting a design screen printed means that your manufacturer will need a different screen for each color in your design, as well as an extra screen for a base layer of white ink if your base shirt is dark. For each additional screen that your design requires, there's normally a setup fee of around $15 to $35 since each screen needs to be made. Direct-to-garment printing is often more ideal for a design with many colors because even though there's still a setup fee, you don't get charged for each extra color since it's essentially the same as an inkjet printer. As I said before, the method you choose is up to you though. If you go the screen printing route, you should expect a setup or preparation fee of around $30 to $50. Then there will be a fee for each screen that is needed, and don't forget that if you're getting your design printed on a darker shirt, they'll also need to make an extra screen so that they could print a white base layer. Then the cost per shirt for the actual printing will usually be around $4 to $8, depending on your design and manufacturer. On the other hand, if you go with direct-to-garment printing, there will be a $10 to $20 setup fee, and then it will be around $4 to $8 per shirt more or less, and that's it. The third factor is the base shirt. The cost of the base shirt that you choose also has a lot of different variables. Are you providing the base or having your manufacturer provide it? What type of base do you want? Do you want a cut and sewn base designed by you or a pre-made one from companies like Delta Apparel or All Style Apparel? How many do you need? Just like for printing, a large quantity of base shirts will have a cheaper cost per unit than a smaller quantity. I recommend having your printer provide it unless they're giving you an outrageous quote, because they normally get good deals from the companies that make them. Plus, then you don't need to worry about shipping or delivering them to your printer. If you're ordering 25 to 30 shirts, the average unit cost will be around $4 to $5 per shirt. If you know the right people or have accounts with some of the base manufacturers, you could potentially get them for $2 to $3 per shirt, but you normally won't see prices like that unless you order a larger amount. Next, you need to factor in the order timeline, shipping, and location. Obviously, if you need your order rushed, it will cost you more. Shirts aren't small and definitely not light, so shipping can cost a lot as well, especially if you want it overnighted or rushed. Finally, the location of your printer can influence the cost of your order as well. The cost of living and cost of running a business varies around the country. I've gotten great quotes from manufacturers around California, some that I ended up working with, but I've also gotten lower prices from printers in Illinois or Virginia, for example. If you go with a printer that's located far away from you, make sure that the cost of shipping doesn't make working with them more expensive than working with someone closer, because that's one thing that people often overlook. All of these factors come together to determine your overall cost. I've said it thousands of times this episode, since the cost of your first run of shirts really will vary based on the factors I mentioned above. So remember, the numbers I'm about to throw out may not be accurate for what you want done. Since 2013, I've talked to about 20 different manufacturers and worked with about 5 or 6 of them. Each one quoted me between $7.50 and $15 per shirt. The guy that quoted $7.50 was giving me a great deal because of some mutual connections that we had. That job should have been way more expensive. The order that got quoted $15 per shirt was for a more complex design that also included some cut and sew aspects. I would say for an order of 25 to 30 simply designed shirts on cheaper bases, you could expect to pay about $8 to $12 per shirt. Interpret that how you'd like to, but I hope this helps you get a better idea of how much money you'll need to spend to put out one design. As always, if you have any questions, DM us on Instagram at the Curator Blog or email us at contact@curatorblog.com. We'll either reply to you directly or answer it in a future episode. Thanks for listening.